I got work to do. Boo, 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 do, 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 do. Come on in. Do, 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 do. You ever have one of those beats in your head? Mm. Sometimes I make it up. Mm, 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 mm. I want y'all to know that yes, I do have a flower in my hair today, even though I know that it is absolutely snow flurries outside. Did not know that when I put my spring colors on. I'm really excited for spring and I need winter to go. Do you hear me? Like, go. Anyway, welcome to another Drop Miss Life where we talk about social and mental topics with the goal of decreasing the stigma of mental health among African American and faith based communities, of course, all communities. We want to make sure that we particularly are addressing those communities. And we have a great topic on tonight as we talk about the first Black woman to what? Well, just tune in and find out. If you want to know about who I am Theresa White, CEO and founder of End Time Creative Counseling Services, and your Drama is Life host. If you are joining me by video or by podcast, hello, hello, either way. Glad to have you support on tonight. I want to talk to you about a few women that have been instrumental in women history. Sometimes we don't mention them. Again, we got a lot of people that we don't talk about when it comes to Black history and what has paved the way for a lot of us and who have left a legacy for us. So I want to make sure that we mention those people tonight. So the first one that I want to mention, the first Black woman too. This is going to be the first Black woman to graduate from Yale Law School. The first Black woman to join the New York City Bar Association. Y'all got a hint yet? Y'all know who I'm talking about? The first Black woman to join the New York City Law Department. I mean, this is the same woman, y'all, talking about her. The first Black woman to be sworn into the bench of the New York City Domestic Relations Court in 1939. So she is absolutely the first Black woman to be sworn in as judge in the United States. Her name is Jane Bolin. So if you have not heard about her, women's history is where we're going to be talking about. And I say that because what it took to be the first Black woman to do anything, period. Let's know what it's like to be the first Black woman to do this in 1939. We already know that there's still a lot of hate and discrimination as goes on in the professional world, in academia, and wonderful colleges. And so to be able to press her way and to absolutely do all these things, you know, to graduate law school, which, first of all, I'm not graduating law school in 2023. So I can't imagine what it was like for her. So we absolutely want to tip our hat, you know, swoop our flowers, give our flowers to her. Jane Bolin being the first African American judge, period, in the United States of America in 1939. So absolutely wanted just to bring a note to her. She was born in 1908 and she passed away in 2007. So she ain't been too long gone. And she passed away in January of '07. So you probably have, if you have not heard about her, I hope that you will absolutely look her up. And as I say, talking tonight about the first Black woman too, feel free to give honor. As I say every time that we do Women's History Month and we're honoring women, or we talk about honoring men, feel free to let me know who are some women that you absolutely are honoring. So you can put their names in the comments. You can put their name in the chat, tag them so that they can know that we absolutely are saluting them as being trailblazers and legacy leavers. And as we've been talking about this year, period, about leaving a legacy, these are the women that we know have absolutely left a legacy. So that's number one, Jane Bolin. The next, and they're always going to talk about is judges tonight. So the next woman, this is the first Black woman judge to become the superior in the Supreme Court, Superior Court, in the Supreme Court. And you probably know her because clearly this is not new news. It was done in, I believe, March of 2022. And this is the Black woman judge, Katani Brown Jackson. So we know about Jane Bolin, right? Absolutely. But I want to make sure that we recognize the first woman to become Supreme, I keep wanting to say superior, but Supreme Court. And I, want to give you just a little bit of, I know that, Biden has promised to nominate a Black woman, but we have heard a lot of different things about this situation, but we absolutely want to tip our hat to her as well. Because again, being the first Black woman to anything is a huge deal. So we absolutely want to celebrate and honor her as well, as she was confirmed to the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, where she served until 2021. And that year, she was appointed to the U.S. Court of Appeals, to the D.C. Circuit, often viewed as the nation's second highest court. And I'm getting this information from the Smithsonian magazine. So I want to just to share that we honor her as well and tip our hat off again to this first Black woman to become the superior court judge. I keep wanting to say supreme. See, y'all, the words just sometimes get mixed up when it gets this time of day. So I've been talking to people all day, but Supreme Court, y'all know what I mean when I say Supreme Court. So, and we know that Jane Bolin was the one that laid the groundwork. And sometimes I just want to make this pit stop moment. So if you don't hear anything else I say, sometimes we don't realize that the actions that we do, we're thinking I'm just doing something for me, thinking it's going to be a great thing to do in my lifetime. And we don't even know. Jane Bolin is no longer here and may not even realize, which she probably did, but the effect of the idea of what the groundwork that she laid. And sometimes we don't realize that what we're doing absolutely affects everybody around us, people that you've never met. The things that you do are not just with you. Everything that you do, even the things you do in secret, are done, they affect generations, because they affect not only your mental, your physical, we'll be talking about mental health and social health. They affect your social relationships, even if nobody ever knows you do it. The hard work that you have put in behind closed doors, nobody may ever know until, again, it's going to, at that time, it may feel like nobody knows what I'm doing. Nobody acknowledges or is even aware that I'm doing all this work behind the scenes, but it will be, as we say, in due season, it will be recognized. And these women, what we see as a grand thing is like, yes, absolutely, we see the end result, but the work that was put in beforehand, nobody saw. So I'm going to encourage you, if you are a woman during this Women's History Month and you feel like I'm doing all this work and it's not going nowhere, I feel like I'm not making it to where I want to be right now, keep working, keep pushing, keep pressing, keep going, because that absolutely will benefit, whether it's young girls coming behind you, women that you don't even know that's looking at you and seeing you as a role model, or something that they are looking at to model their own work ethic or their own career after. So it's important that we recognize that what we do and don't do affects not only individual, socially, and generationally. So I just want to make that tidbit. And then our final judge, y'all, which I think is one of the most important judges, because I think this is actually absolutely the women's history. And maybe I should have went backwards a little bit with regards to the time. But this woman, a lot of people may not know her, but I want to absolutely introduce her. Her name is Deborah. Do I know her last name? I do not, because she is a woman that's mentioned in the Old Testament of the Holy Scriptures. And she's mentioned as she is a judge. She's called Judge Deborah. So I'm going to read a little bit about her so that you can know about who this woman is. And the reason why I say she's the first woman too, because she's the first woman in the scriptures to ever be acknowledged, the first woman to be identified outside of a spouse relationship, outside of a husband. And not saying that that's a bad thing for anybody else, but it's absolutely important, because a lot of women that you see in the Old Testament, you're hearing in conjunction with a man of God. This woman paved the way for her own faith. She was a leader in her own right. She's one of the most influential women in the Bible. She's known for her wisdom, which is one of my favorite gifts. I believe wisdom is something, of course, we can't never buy. We can't pay enough money for. So wisdom, her courage, her faith, and her action. Because of this woman, she was known as also not only a judge, but she was known as a prophet who was said to hear God's voice and to share his word with others. She did a lot of, she was just a leader, but she was able to speak up in her day. Excuse me, drinking a lot of water, y'all. And you can read her story in Judges 5. Ain't that funny that the book that she's in is called Judges because she was you get the point. So Judges 4 and 5. So the first, and she may not be, I don't know if she's black. I'm not saying she's black, but she was in the part of the country that absolutely have people of color. So we're going to honor her today. And even if she's not, I don't necessarily care what color or ethnicity that she was, she deserves to be honored because she was the first woman judge that I have ever read about. Again, this is way before 1939. And she has paved the way for women to stand up and have a place as a judge. So I want to make sure that we acknowledge that this woman has absolutely been as a leader, and people still talk about her today. So you may not have ever heard of Jane Bolin. You may not ever hear, your children may never hear of Miss Brown Jackson. But Deborah's going to probably be talked about for generations to come because she's so prominent and such a pillar of legacy and being a woman of integrity. Because to be a woman of wisdom or to have that kind of wisdom, to have that kind of position in that time, again, was probably more difficult then than it was in 1939 or 2022 or 2023 today. So we absolutely salute these women as they are the first woman too. I wanted to just give a quick salute. So again, put people's names in the comments that you feel like, women particularly, that you feel like deserves to be honored. They're the first woman too. And so I absolutely just want to say to these women that, of course, a couple of them are no longer here, but we absolutely celebrate. And good evening, Natalie. We absolutely celebrate these women. And I want to encourage you that as you look at something in your life that you may feel like this is difficult, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if it's going to make a difference, because right now it's hard to look at things and think that it's really affecting people the way we desire it to. Even me in the healthcare field or the mental health field, sometimes I feel like some of the work that I've done is it even noticed? And not that I'm doing this to get notoriety, but sometimes you need to know if your work is being effective or not. And so sometimes I have those moments, and I will tell you that encouragement will always come when you are on the path that God has you on. Because in the last week, I know last Wednesday was International Women's Day, so happy belated International Women's Day to all the women. I had someone come in with a bouquet of flowers and some expensive chocolates for me on that day to say Happy International Women's Day. Just want to say thank you for what you do and for not taking the day off and working and what you've done for me. And I say that because as a provider, as a therapist, you can put a lot of effort in and education. We, again, got years behind our belt, but what the person may see, you only see in the hour of the wisdom that but you don't know the years that were put before that, the nights that I was up writing papers and reading articles. Again, you don't know the effort that was put into it, but you get to absolutely benefit from the wisdom, from the work, as we get to benefit from these women who have paved the way. So that encouraged me. And then today, another one of my people came in that I have seen before with a card and some flowers just to say thank you. And I'm like, is there something in the air? What do I, so I say that because that absolutely put a smile on my face. And when you need to be encouraged on your path of whatever it is that you are being led to do in this day and age, know that it is absolutely affecting someone else's life, and what you're not doing is affecting someone else's life. So we might as well just be about our Father's business and do what we need to do, because we are in a day and age that people need you. Yes, you. Every woman that may listen to me today, if you are downloading the podcast, you're listening to me a little bit later, people need you. Your sisters need you. Your nieces need you. Your aunts need you. Your daughters need you, right? The women that are coming behind, granddaughters, they need you. And you have never met them yet, but they still need you. Again, Jane Boland had met half of us who are absolutely standing on the shoulders of what she has paved. And right now we know that Miss or Judge Jackson, is still, of course, alive. But again, the young ladies that's going to be able to stand on the shoulders of these women who are paving the way and leaving a legacy. So this all I wanted to say is I want you to find someone that's in your life and ask them, what is something that you felt like you have done that absolutely has contributed to the society in a positive way, to our family in a positive way? What legacy have you paved? And just sit back and let somebody think about what they've done. They may say, I've done nothing. No, because the fact that people are still here, still breathing, still working, still doing all types of things says that they are leaving legacies that maybe they don't even realize that they're leaving. As I was saying, I had no idea that I had this effect on these people who came in. And I was even asking, am I making a difference? Is really what I'm doing? Should I be doing something different? And it just was a nice little, what I call a drop of golden sun, a drop of golden sun in my bucket to say, absolutely, keep putting in the work, keep paving the way, keep leaving the legacy. That's what I say to you tonight. So women, you are wonderful. Men, you are too. But it's Women's History Month. We'll get to y'all when it's your turn. So keep leaving that legacy, keep paving the way, keep being great, because somebody is watching. You guys have a blessed and beautiful week, and we'll see you next time on Drama is Life. Bye-bye.